silence. Keep those, our prayers for those 2 police officers that were shot and our troops to come home safe. Thank you. Dennis, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood.
Here.
Freeholder Barrett Belante.
Here.
Freeholder Kenny.
Here.
Freeholder Polos.
Here.
Freeholder Tamaro.
Here.
Freeholder Valenti.
Here.
Freeholder Director Rios.
Here. Consideration of the 2015 budget. The clerk will read resolution number 15-54 relative to the establishment of the cap bank by title only.
Authorized increase in the 2015 tax levy cap limits and establishment of a cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45.14, to be increased by 2% in the amount of $4,624,604. Authorized public hearing to be held on March 5th, 2015 at 7 p.m. in the Freeholders meeting room. This resolution was advertised in the Home News Tribune on February 7th, 2015.
This time I'd like to open the meeting to the public on the public hearing on resolution number 15-54.
Move to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion to close by Freeholder Tamaro, seconded by Freeholder Valenti. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The clerk will read resolution number 15-351, confirming the establishment of the cap bank by title only.
Confirm the actions of the Board of Chosen Freeholders that previously adopted a calendar year 2015 resolution 15-54-R to increase tax levy cap limits and establish a cap bank, NJSA 40A:4-45.14.
Open up the meeting to the public. Resolution number 15-351.
Move to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion to close by Freeholder Tamaro, seconded by Freeholder Valenti. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adopt resolution number 15-351 only?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valenti, seconded by Freeholder Tamaro. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood.
Yes.
Freeholder Barrett Belante.
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny. Freeholder Polos.
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rios.
Yes. Okay, we have some recognitions tonight.
Yes, we do. The first is recognizing March as American Red Cross Month in Middlesex County. Next is recognizing the honorees of the South Amboy St. Patrick's Day Parade. Next is recognizing Edna Dorothy Carty Daniel as she receives the Arturo Alfonso Schomburg Award. Next is recognizing the honorees of the Woodbridge St. Patrick's Day Parade. And last is recognizing Craig Coughlin as Irishman of the Year, as named by the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick of Central Jersey.
Is there a motion to adopt the above recognitions?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valenti, seconded by Freeholder Tamaro. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood.
Yes.
Freeholder Barrett Belante.
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny.
Yes.
Freeholder Polos. Freeholder Tamaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti.
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rios.
Yes. This time Freeholder Polos will make a presentation to the American Heart Association.
Is anyone here from the American
Red Cross, I'm sorry.
American Red Cross?
One that's in red.
Aha.
Yes.
Well, we welcome Andrea Martinez here on behalf of the American Red Cross as we celebrate Red Cross Month. I think I can say safely that the Red Cross itself is a symbol, a logo, which is known worldwide, transcends all types of religions, colors, and dialects as a very strong sign and symbol of peace, good health, safety, and comfort. And if we think about it for a moment, in war-torn areas, most difficult, ravaged municipalities who have been affected by storms, tornadoes, and so forth, what is the one insignia that we see at some point after the aftermath of the storm, as the recovery begins, it's that beacon of that red cross. And it is a sign and a very strong symbol that help is there, that recovery has begun, and that folks have dedicated themselves to help those communities rebuild. Not only the paid staff, but the thousands and thousands of volunteers that you have. And my affiliation with Red Cross goes back 30 years when I became a first aider. Those days, in order to become a first aid squad, remember you had to take American Red Cross. Al Demko's laughing, he remembers. You had to take an American Red Cross basic first aid safety class to even be considered. So, and as a former lifeguard, I recognize, and still till today, it is the certification that's required in order to protect our pools. So the Red Cross really stands for so many great things, especially when it comes to good health and all of the right things for our communities. It is also an organization that we depend on through our Office of Emergency Management with the many disasters that occur in our county. So it is something that we recognize globally, but depend on locally. Andrea?
Good evening, everyone. Freeholder Board, thank you so much for recognizing again all the work that the Red Cross does, and to the thousands of volunteers that we have. As many of you know, our organization is mainly composed of many volunteers, and like the Freeholder mentioned, we are globally, but we're also responding to local emergencies like fires and storms, and everybody is familiar here with Sandy recovery, and we've been very involved. Middlesex County has been impacted by Sandy, and we have been very involved with Sandy recovery, and that's part of what I do, is just helping recover the communities affected by Sandy. So thank you so much for your time and for recognizing the efforts of the Red Cross and to many of our volunteers that we're very thankful. Thank you.
Okay, reports of freeholders. Freeholder Ken Armwood.
Thank you, Freeholder Director, and please just bear with me as I fight through this cold. Office of Workforce Development Spring Job Fair. The Middlesex County Office of Workforce Development is hosting their annual Spring Job Fair on Wednesday, March 25th, 2015 at the Woodbridge Community Center, Rollering, 600 Main Street, Woodbridge, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 70 employers from key employment sectors such as healthcare, financial services, retail, technology, and transportation, logistics, and distribution will be participating in the event. Many of these companies will be conducting immediate job interviews. The employers are recruiting for various full-time positions from entry-level to upper management. Middlesex County residents who are seeking employment are encouraged to attend and bring an ample supply of resumes and be dressed to impress. Staff from the Office of Workforce Development will be conducting workshops on resume development, job interviewing skills, and effective job search techniques. The event is co-sponsored by the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders and the New Jersey Department of Labor and Workforce Development. WCTC AM 1450 will be broadcasting its morning show prior to the event from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. For more information about the Spring Job Fair, you can call 732-745-3601 or go to the county's website. From the Office of Cultural and Heritage, Spring Celebration, a Celtic Music Journey with Heather Mulvey. The location will be the historic Indian Queen Tavern at East Jersey Old Town Village in Johnson Park, 1050 River Road in Piscataway. Start time will be 2 p.m. on March 22nd, and the end time will be 4 p.m. Welcome to the return of spring at the annual Spring Celebration, featuring a Celtic music journey with Heather Mulvey, an acoustic guitarist and native of New Jersey. Ms. Mulvey will highlight ancient Irish song traditions as well as offer a brief history of each Irish folk song for audiences of all ages. Audience participation and interaction is encouraged. The program is offered free of charge, but registration is required. Call 732-745-4489. And that concludes my report. Thank you, Freeholder Director.
Thank you, Freeholder Armwood. Freeholder Deputy Director Carol Barapalante.
Thank you, Director. As Freeholder Liaison to the Middlesex County Open Space and Recreation Public Advisory Committee, I am happy to report on a few open space items. Although it is only March, we have already completed both open space and farmland acquisitions. Recently, we preserved our 53rd farm in Middlesex County by acquiring the development rights to 37.17 acres in the Reinhardt Farm in Cranberry Township. This brings the total acreage of farmland preserved through the county's farmland preservation program to 4,892 acres. When you add in the farmland preserved through municipal easements, land donations, and state acquisitions, the number climbs to a total of 5,437 acres of total farmland preserved throughout the county. My fellow freeholders and I are proud that we can continue to help support local farming while securing the rich agricultural history of our county for future generations. The county closed on half an acre of vacant land along Rock Lane in the borough of Middlesex. The borough will hold title to the new parkland, with the county receiving a conservation restriction. This acquisition will add to the existing parkland previously purchased by the county in the Rock Lane area and will enable the borough to expand potential park linkages to Mountain View Park, which is also owned and managed by the borough of Middlesex. I want to thank my fellow freeholders and the people of Middlesex County for preserving our precious open lands and our rich agricultural history. As we continue through 2015, I look forward to reporting on additional acquisitions so we can continue to work toward improving the quality of life for the residents of Middlesex County. And that's my report tonight, Director.
Thank you, Freeholder, Deputy Director Palante. Freeholder Charlie Kenny.
Thank you, Director. Tonight, we have on our agenda for the freeholders our 3 amendments to our budget. As you know, we introduced the budget in January. We have to wait for state review before we can go to the public hearing for the budget. The state doesn't review county or municipal budgets until after they introduce their own, so that's why it's been held off. They reviewed our budget. There's only 3 minor housekeeping amendments that we have to make to the budget itself. It's no cost change. It's just a matter of what column they want us to put something in. And the only other item I have tonight is on Sunday, March, what's Sunday?
15th.
Thank you. March 15th, 9:30 a.m., we're going to have a flag raising, an Irish flag raising. We'll have a ceremony here in the building, and then we're going to go down the corner. We're going to have the Irish flag raised in honor of St. Patrick's Day. So I invite the public and anyone else that wishes to attend, and that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Freeholder Kenny. Freeholder H. James Polis.
Thank you, Director. Freeholder Kenny, I was at your event last year, and it was a great event, and certainly a great tradition that you've started here at the county to have that type of an event and flag-raising ceremony. So good luck with it again this year. In the audience, ladies and gentlemen, we have a gentleman that I'd like to ask to stand. His name is Al Demko. He is our Chief of the Office of Emergency Management Communications. Al, stand up for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we have great staff throughout the county that do wonderful things and help us in various ways. I asked Al to be here tonight because, in addition to the many things that our folks do within our county to help our residents, particularly in the area of public safety and health, be safer and function, many of our individuals, many of our staff, and a lot of our volunteers also branch out beyond our borders and take on roles and responsibilities that reflect very nicely on our county. Tonight I wanted to single out Al because he was recently appointed within the last couple of weeks as the Federal Communications Commission Region 8 Planning Coordinator, which is basically the planning coordination group over 15 different counties in New Jersey and 14 different counties in the state of New York. It's an extremely prestigious position. It's something that Al has been dedicated to. He is our radio guru here in the county. He knows radios inside and out, and his reputation precedes him at the state and federal level. So, Al, a round of applause to you, and thank you for representing Middlesex County. We are moving ahead quickly, and Freeholders, I'm sorry, I meant to bring the little cards tonight, but I will get them to Margaret to distribute to you tomorrow so you can see what we're going to be handing out. But our distracted driving initiative is moving ahead. We are calling it, quite simply, Eyes on the Wheel, Eyes on the Road, Hands on the Wheel. It is a simple initiative for us to educate people about not driving distracted. And we're getting right to the heart of the matter. With all the lingo and the slogans that are going on out there, the bottom line is that from our transportation safety program, we want drivers to remember one thing: your eyes need to be on the road and your hands need to be on the wheel. So we're getting that simple message out in a very effective hand-to-hand way by having 75,000 small business cards with a logo and that slogan imprinted on it. And they're going to be handed out at various gas stations throughout Middlesex County on a weekend coming up. We're going to be scheduling it and getting information out about it, but we're going to be flooding the roadways of Middlesex County with this information, where the gas station attendants are actually going to be handing it to the individuals who are getting fuel. We've already gotten a commitment from Raceway gas stations, and you know how many of them there are in the county. We've spoken with Quick Check and also a number of independent retailers, so we're expecting to roll this out within the next several weeks. We're going to take advantage of the two sides of the card. One side is going to talk about eyes on the road, hands on the wheel, and the other side is going to promote the new NCADD website about impaired driving and give individuals information on where they can go for help if they have any type of a drinking or drug-related problem for themselves and any member of their family or friends. So we'll be getting information out about that and promoting it very, very shortly. I'm going to mention tonight that we are moving ahead very quickly, and you'll hear a lot about this over the course of the next several months and probably hear this phrase used a lot, but in preparation for that, this is a program that the Office of Public Safety and Health is putting together. We are calling it the Year of the Volunteer. Over the next several months, we're going to be rolling out a number of initiatives trying to highlight the importance of our volunteer firefighters and volunteer first aiders throughout our county. We believe, as I'm sure you will agree, that these men and women who dedicate their lives and volunteer for these emergency services, put their lives on the line each and every day, provide an invaluable service. They take time away from their families and their work to provide life-threatening, to them at times, service to all of us in our county. In addition to the great service that they provide, they also save us an enormous amount of money, because one can only imagine the tax implications of having to replace all of our volunteers with paid staff. If you look at the numbers statewide, there are more than 31,000 volunteer firemen in the state and about 6,700 paid firefighters. You can do the numbers pretty quickly in your mind that if we lost all of those volunteers throughout the state, the impact on our state would be to the tune of billions, and I underscore with a B, billions of dollars of impact on the state budget and on our local taxes. So these folks really do provide an invaluable service, and what we're doing here in Middlesex County is a coordinated effort of recruitment and retainage to help try to promote the fact that these are very worthwhile organizations to participate in, get folks excited about it, try to get them involved, and also come up with a slew of incentives at the county and local level, and perhaps lobbying the state on incentives that we can provide to make sure that we retain, and that's a critical element, retain those folks who have already committed themselves to these organizations. So we're going to be rolling out, as I said, a series of programs over the next several months, culminating in a large-scale event in September, and you'll be hearing the Year of the Volunteer quite often as we try to make this something that is something that's on everyone's mind every day, because we think it's that important. So I want to thank particularly Freeholder Kenny Armwood, who's working with us on some of the incentives in some areas, and we'll be announcing that shortly. I won't share that with you tonight, and all the Freeholder Board for their support on this countywide initiative. Thank you, Director.
Thank you, Freeholder Polos. Freeholder Charlie Tamaro.
Thank you, Director. We're here tonight because we had to cancel our last meeting because of that snowstorm we had. I used to like snow, but not anymore. You know, I also want to thank our public works workers again and our parks workers for doing such a great job keeping our roads safe and cleared and salted. Hopefully that's our last snowstorm. One good thing about March, the sun's a little warmer and it usually melts a little quicker, as it started to yesterday. With spring in mind, it's time to prepare for all the fun activities warm weather brings. On April 1st, check the park's website for applications for Kids in the Park and Teens in the Park program. The groups meet during the summer in a mini theater in Warren Park. The program is a hit with kids of all ages and a must for the young actresses and actors in your family. So if you want to participate, please contact Jackie Neal at 732-745-3936 for more information. Although the temperature is rising, the Roosevelt Family Ice Skating Rink is still open until March 29th for all your last-minute ice skating desires. But after the 29th, the rink then becomes the more popular Roosevelt Family roller skating rink. The total transformation of the rink floor will create a roller rink that will open on April 17th. So visit our website for more information. After this rough winter, do yourself a favor and take advantage of all the action going on in our county parks. Visit the county website and you will surely find something for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Tamaro. Freeholder Blanquita Valenti.
Thank you, Freeholder Director. First of all, I want to thank the staff from MCAT, that's the Middlesex County Area Transportation Program, and Central Vehicle who worked diligently throughout the many bad weather days this winter to clear the snow off our fleet of vehicles so that they could be used to safely transport people throughout the county. And though hopefully we won't face the situation again until next winter, I want to encourage the public to check the county website when inclement weather threatens to disrupt MCAT services. Any changes to service hours are posted on the website in addition to announcements being made through local media. Similarly, I want to recognize the efforts of our home-delivered meal staff who ensured that our homebound seniors had nutritious meals throughout the winter. On those rare occasions when we were unable to deliver a daily meal, participants could eat the shelf-stable meals that were given to them ahead of time in anticipation of the bad weather. And that's the end of my report, Director.
Thank you, Freeholder Valenti. I have a few comments I'd like to mention. I attended a Read Across America at Faber School in Dunellen. As we always get requests from various schools to read to the children, and it's always a pleasure to see the faces on these kids in grammar school. That particular day I read to 3rd and 4th graders, and it's nice to encourage them how important it is to read in recognition of Dr. Seuss. I also attended the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Woodbridge, and again, a usual success and great turnout, nice weather. And of course, the South Amboy St. Patrick's Day Parade was canceled on the day before last Saturday because of inclement weather, and that will be rescheduled for March 22nd. I attended the event that Dorothy Daniel from Perth Amboy was recognized for her contributions from PROD, the Puerto Rican Association for Human Development. They recognized her for her many, many accomplishments and volunteerism in the city of Perth Amboy. She was a Board of Education member, she was a principal, and she still sits on the Housing Authority there, and she's a very active community volunteer. And lastly, I would like to also reiterate the words as Freeholder Tamaro mentioned. We have great employees in this county, and they really did a superb job in plowing and cleaning all the right-of-ways for us on our county roads and sidewalks. They really did a commendable job, and it's not an easy task. Okay, Mr. Kelso, any resolutions to be added?
Yes, Freeholder Director, we have one resolution to add, and that is to amend the 2015 budget for the County of Middlesex, New Jersey, and establish the hearing date on said 2015 budget amendment as March 19, 2015 at 7 p.m. in the Freeholders Meeting Room. This will be added as Resolution 15-416.
Is there a motion to add this to the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valenti, seconded by Freeholder Tamaro. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood?
Yes.
Freeholder Barrett Belante?
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny?
Yes.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rios?
Yes. Okay, Mr. Kelso, any resolutions to be amended?
There are none.
Any resolution to be held?
There are none.
Resolution to be voided?
There are none.
This time I'd like to open the meeting to the public on any discussion on any resolutions that are listed.
Good evening, Freeholders. My name is Charles Cradaville. I hail from New Brunswick. It's an honor and a pleasure to speak to you tonight. My first question is for you, Madam Deputy Director, if you could, through the chair, on 15-366R. Why have you sponsored this legislation to purchase this land?
366.
Why? Why not? We purchase open space when it's available, and this was available for open space. We have land right next to it, and so it complements the land in one larger area.
Okay.
And the price was right.
Okay, yeah, can you tell me why is the county paying more than the appraised value?
Maybe answer that question.
Mr. Kelso will answer that question.
Yes.
Typically, both parties to a transaction do an appraisal. The appraisals are valuations based upon certain criteria, but there's always flexibility in those figures because it's not a hard and black and white prospect of doing an appraisal. The Middlesex County Improvement Authority does generally all of the due diligence, the appraisal work, the environmental work on all of our proposed transactions, and there's criteria that they use for purposes of negotiating, but it is essentially a negotiation. The expectation is you're going to generally pay a little bit more than your appraised value, but you never, like any negotiation, you're never going to exceed it to any significant degree. And in this case, it's only a few % higher than what the appraised value was, so it was a good deal.
Thank you for the answer. Can you tell me, was there an environmental audit done?
I can answer that also.
Yes.
There was a Phase 1 environmental that was completed, and I'm anticipating the next question. There has been a Phase 2 that's been ordered, but it has not been received yet.
So the Phase 2 is ordered because the Phase
Yes.
1 found concerns.
There were several areas of concern, as you know, typically they're identified, and so that they require some further review.
Okay, what are those areas of concern?
Generally, there were, if I recall correctly, there were several drums with unknown content. There were several areas of debris which needed to be reviewed. And I believe also there were several monitoring wells of unknown origin that needed to be looked at and understood. And as you know, in a Phase 1 and in a Phase 2, they look at the state records to make a determination on those.
So I don't think the county should go ahead with a purchase of a property that has this many concerns.
Well, Charlie, just so you understand, the contract itself has contingencies in it. So the contract has a provision, like all contracts do, where we have a period of time in which to do due diligence. The due diligence, you don't spend the money to go out and do due diligence like environmental unless you know you have a contract and a potential purchase. Otherwise, you'd be spending a lot of taxpayer money for no reason. The contract has a due diligence contingency. It also has the ability to terminate the agreement if you find that the environmental status of that property is unacceptable. To those circumstances where environmental concerns can be remediated, the county's position is the seller either remediates the property prior to closing to DEP standards, or the county will take proceeds from the sale, hold them in escrow, and do the remediation itself with the seller's money. So that's the process that we typically see in all of open space acquisitions, because it's not unusual for any property, no matter how underutilized it's been, no matter how pristine it is, that you may find that there is a certain amount of debris that's been dumped on property. It just happens routinely. So that's why the process is typical.
Okay. Perhaps the deputy director will know this. Is there still plans for a extension of Finnegan's Lane? And would this land affect the possibility of that?
At this point, I don't think there's any plans of extending Finnegan's Lane.
I would say this in terms of this particular property, acquired through open space funding, it would be forever restricted for open space purposes in accordance with the law.
Okay. I also have some questions about one of the purchasers. Can you tell me how much, the sellers, Barnett Hoffman, can you tell me how much he stands to make on this deal?
I have no idea.
It's a portion of the $360,000?
I have no idea.
Is he the same person who was a judge in Middlesex County?
I assume that's the case, yes.
Time.
I recognize the name.
Okay, well, I think this is a concern, particularly because there's a conflict of interest with Mr. John Hoffman, who is the Open Space Counsel. He is the counsel for Brookdale College, and I believe Mr. Hoffman is an employee of Brookdale College, is a faculty member at Brookdale College. I believe there's a lot of other concerns about the property, and I think you should hold off on
Thank you for
passing
your
this.
comments.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the public on any resolutions?
Good evening. My name is Anthony Larabina. I'm from New Brunswick, New Jersey as well. I do also have some questions about the same resolution using open space money to buy this land. It's been reported that 70% of the land is already undevelopable. Is that even? I think that's the correct term, because it's wetlands.
Correct.
So why are we, as Middlesex County, spending the money to, I guess, ensure that it's not developed? Or
There's many times that the county will purchase and has purchased in the past just to preserve open space so that it doesn't get built on and to keep the pristine effect of it throughout the county. It's been done through the years, it's been done recently, and this is another example of how we try to preserve open space because of concerns from the public as far as development, as far as flooding, as far as traffic. So these are some of the reasons why we consistently do this.
Okay. And with concerns, with the environmental concerns, what is a stage 2, or was it a stage, a second, I guess, study? What
It's a
does that
phase,
include?
phase 2, yeah.
Okay. So what does that include? What will be looked at?
Well, depending on what the phase 1 shows, it could be analysis of what is contained, for example, in this case, in the drums, the extent of any type of spillage that may have occurred. The debris piles would be further studied to see if there's anything in the debris piles that needs to be remediated. I think in this case, you also have the monitoring wells, which there needs to be some historical review to determine what they're from. As you know, many times you'll have a monitoring well on a property that really has nothing to do with the property. It has to do with some other property, but they're testing groundwater and so forth. So the phase 2 is, the phase 1 alerts you to things you want to look at. The phase 2 is what you do when you look at it.
All right. And then this would also include soil underneath those drums and all that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. My next question is, so you've previously stated that that if there are some remediation costs, that they will be covered by the county will not cover those. And I just
Correct.
want to make sure that the county will spend no money to remediate this property.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's really all I have. Thank you so much.
Anyone else in the public?
Move to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion to close by Freeholder Tamaro, seconded by Freeholder Valente. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Mr. Kelso. Motion is ordered to adjourn.
We determine if anyone needs to remove from the agenda.
Does anyone have any resolutions that they voted on separately?
I have 15-349.
Okay. Freeholder Director, if there are no other resolutions to exclude, a motion would then be in order to adopt a consent agenda consisting of resolution numbers 15-337 through resolution 15-416, excluding resolution 15-351, which was previously voted upon, and resolution 15-349 to be voted upon separately.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valente, seconded by Freeholder Tamaro. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood,
Yes.
Freeholder Barrett Belante,
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny, Freeholder Polos.
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Valente,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rios.
Yes.
Now, Director, it would be appropriate to consider resolution 15-349, which was excluded by Freeholder Tamaro.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Valente, seconded by Freeholder Barrett Belante. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood,
Yes.
Freeholder Barrett Belante,
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny, Freeholder Polos.
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro,
Present, not voting.
Freeholder Valente,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Rios.
Yes. This time, I'd like to open the meeting up to the public.
I didn't think so.
Good evening again. Anthony Larabino from New Brunswick, New Jersey. I've asked about Riders Lane, some sidewalks on Riders Lane in previous meetings, and I wanted to see if there's been any movement by Records or the county to further those ends.
I'm sorry?
I have not had a response from Records.
Okay. And what kind of response are you looking for? Like, you know, you contacted obviously the Records DOT, and is the county looking for funding? Is the county looking for plans or land, or what kind of response are we looking for from Records?
Well, I think the county is looking for the property owner who is typically responsible for the installation of sidewalks.
Okay. And I understand Records is a state entity. Is there some way that the county can compel a response?
The only thing we could do is request Rich, did you contact them by phone?
I did. I think John
Palomino did? Okay,
Yes.
so, you know what? Tomorrow, talk to John, and let's coordinate a communication by letter, if it wasn't done already, to see if we could only request it. We can't mandate that, but at least we can make the effort of requesting them to see if they would attend to that.
Right, and it has been about a month. I mean, you know, typically I get back to my voicemails in a couple of days. So I appreciate the letter. And then I've also asked about a curb bump out. Currently, there's a plan for the bikeway to go, the Middlesex County bikeway to go through New Brunswick on Nielsen Street, and there are a couple of curb bump outs next to an adult active home or apartments. And this curb bump out acts to help these elderly people get across Nielsen Street. It's quite a wide street, and the county bikeway, through the installation of that, would destroy that curb bump out. And I've asked that we try to figure a way to preserve that so that these people can get across the street there.
We looked at the last meeting. The bump out on the side where the building is will remain. The other side will be cut back about 2 feet only.
Okay.
And therefore stay.
Okay, perfect. And then I've also asked about the timeline for the Middlesex County VoTech building in New Brunswick that was sold to St. Peter's, and how long they have to occupy and start using that building for some use. And I kind of, I guess, ambiguously asked the question, but I would like and I don't expect you to have the information now. I would like I guess, a response maybe by next meeting of when that's supposed to be occupied.
Yeah, I believe I spoke to you about that last time. I don't recall that you were expecting us to go and actually get you the timeline. I'll see what I can find out about it. I'm pretty certain that I can.
Okay. I feel that the building would be put to, if St. Peter's isn't going to occupy it in a timely fashion, I just feel that the building could be put to very good use, for example, as a county VoTech building. Again, I know we have a nursing VoTech school. I believe it's in Woodbridge. Mm-hmm. This building is right across the street from a major hospital, and that might be a better location.
Well, except you have to understand, St. Peter's owns the property, so you can't compel them to do that. And I think that was the reason why the limitation was placed in the deed. So that's why I'll get you that information. But there was a responsibility for a time period where they needed to move forward with the plan.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for your responses, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public?
Good evening once again, Charles Cradaville, New Brunswick. I just have a few quick questions. I noticed at the county court there's new x-ray machines. Those were purchased with the county taxpayer money, correct?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
X-ray machines at the entrance to the county courthouse.
Okay.
Was that something the county purchased recently?
Yeah, They did. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
That's part of the security perimeter for target hardening of our courts.
Thanks. And can you tell me why did the old ones need to be replaced?
Well, I think there's the technology. It's X-ray machines and the metal detectors are much like cell phones and computers. The technology continues to improve, the sensitivity of them and so forth. And then after a period of time, because of the age of them, they're just not as effective. So, based on the recommendations, new ones were purchased.
Okay, so there weren't any problems with the old ones, for instance, with the X-rays leaking.
No.
No. Okay. There weren't any
I
violations.
don't know anything about that. I'm sure it's just to improve, like Paul said, improve security with the latest technology.
Okay. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public?
Move to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion by Freeholder Tamaro, seconded by Freeholder Valente to close the public portion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Freeholder Valente, seconded by Freeholder Tamaro. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.